Absolutely. That's such a great way to look at it because one of the things that I hear a lot of, like my community is a lot of immigrant moms, and there's a lot of pressure to cook. Like these households cook 3 times a day. Every meal should be hand prepped and every meal should be delicious. And, because that's what we saw our moms do. And so for me, I'm telling you, like the last 2 years, 3 years maybe, have been such a battle of like giving up the kitchen. Like it's so hard, and even now I feel guilty. Like, I went to see a friend and she cooks every meal and she feeds her child with her own hands, and I was just like literally I was in depression for like a good 2 days with thinking, am I doing everything wrong? Because my kid is like on, he feeds himself, and we give him what we can. Like we're not cooking every single meal like from scratch. And so I think there's a lot of, like you said, the comparison that we're constantly putting ourselves, whether we are comparing ourselves to our moms, or we're comparing ourselves to our friends, or feeling like we're inadequate and we're not doing it right, creates a lot of that guilt. And I feel like a lot of moms are not happy here and they're not happy there either, right? They're not happy at work because they feel like they're never enough and they always have to fight all these other biases, and then they come home and they're still feeling inadequate. How do you suggest that someone balances these emotions, of guilt? Because I think guilt is the biggest killer of ambitions for when it comes to women.
Yeah, guilt and trauma, I would say the
Yeah.
two of them. Um, a ton of women, a ton of moms I see come through, and they've been in, interesting family dynamics growing up where they've
Mm.
had societal influences, family influences that made them feel less adequate than they actually are. Maybe they've come from a toxic job, they're experiencing those biases. Maybe they have interesting dynamics in their social circle. There's really simple exercises that you can do, and they sound so silly when I say them, but I really mean it when I mean they're impactful.
Mm.
If you take all of the negative thoughts that you think about yourself and you write them down, and then you just set it and forget it, and then you come back and you go through and you say, is this founded on fact,
Yeah.
or is this something that I'm telling myself? And then
Hmm.
if it's not founded on a fact, cross it off. Like, let it go, because you have just told yourself, like, this is not real. This is something that I'm telling myself.
Hmm.
And then another exercise I really like to do is what I call the work life exercise, because sometimes it's not enough for us to like validate our own
Yeah.
feelings and boost our own confidence. And even when we get there, we're like, am I just pumping myself up? Like,
Mm.
is this true about me? Like, I just crossed all these things off of these lists, and then I went back and I wrote down the things that are actually true, right? But are
Yeah.
these things actually true? Then
Hmm.
I like to go through the same list and I like to think, okay, if I asked my work wife at this job what they would
Mm.
say about me, what would they say? And it's a totally different
Yeah.
opinion, because your boss is going to judge you based off of performance and KPIs, and your cross-functional partner is going to judge you based off of what you did that served them, and your
Mm.
peers are going to judge you based on how you made the culture fun or free. But your work wife is going to really see you. They're going to see
Mm.
you as a person, they're going to see you as a peer, they're going to see you as somebody who achieves things, someone they look up to, somebody that might be a mentor, someone who might be a
Mm.
mentee. And so they have a very well rounded perspective of you.
Yeah.
And so when you start crossing off all of the false narratives and you start writing down the truths that you believe, and then you couple them with your work wives, and if you can't imagine what they would say, just call them, because they're your work wives. They're going to tell you. Then it's
Yeah.
a really affirming exercise, and just keep the list and revisit it every once in a while.
Mm.
I just think that it's a really great way to boost your confidence and
Yeah.
really dismiss those false things that you're telling yourself.